CS189 Packet Tracer Lab 1.4.7. In this lab, we'll be configuring the routers and PCs to communicate with each other and the dual stack server. We'll begin by configuring the IP addresses on PC1 and PC2. So we can see here from the addressing table that we're going to set up PC1 with a 172 address and a /25 subnet mask. So let's go back and review subnet masks a little here. So I'm going to bring over some information here. So in this particular case, the /25 indicates the first bit in the last octet of our IPv4 addressing. The first three are going to convert to a decimal of 255, 255, 255. And the last is going to convert to 128 because this is the 128th decimal equivalent. You can find this by counting from the right to the left, and this is at the 7th place because you start at 0, and then it becomes 2 to the 0 because of the 2 bits. So we get 2 to the 7th, and that would be 7 2s multiplied together becomes 128. Thus our subnet mask will be 255, 255, 255, 128. So let's come back over here. I'll open PC1. And we're going to go to the desktop IP configuration. Let me bring back our information here. So PC1 is that. I'll paste that in here. And then we'll put our subnet mask of 255.255.255.128. We also need to put in the default gateway. So we'll go ahead and enter that in as well. 17.16.20.1. Alright, that completes PC1. Let's move over to PC2. Go to the IP config. Let me bring back that information. There it is. And go back to the IP address here for PC2. Copy it, paste it, and adjust this. With the gateway, it'll be the same as the other, which will be, oh, I'm sorry, it's not the same because it's on a slightly different subnet. Okay, so those PCs are configured. I realized I made an error, so I went and fixed that. So let me go ahead and close this. We're next going to move on to the router and make the interface adjustments. So let's go ahead and we'll open the router. In this particular case, we can't use the command line, so we're going to have to configure these a little differently. So we're going to go to the configuration tab. We'll come down to the interfaces and we'll start with the gigabit 00. We move this out of the way. Let's bring our information back up. So our router, our IPv4 address is 172.16.20.1 with, again, the /25 mask. So we'll enter that mask in. And we're going to have to turn on the interface. So we'll click there. And you notice down here it's actually showing you what it would do on the command line. Let's go ahead and set up the Ethernet 1. Put in its 29. CS189. And it gave us the right subnet mask because it realizes that this one's already using the other half of that range. And we'll turn it on as well. Let's go to the serial port. The serial port has already been configured, so we don't need to do anything there. Let's go ahead and close this. We'll next go ahead and verify that these can ping each other. So come back over here to PC1. Let me bring that back up again. So we'll go to command prompt and ping PC2 172.16.20.138. So it should fail the first time, but then it should work afterwards. And there we go. So PC1 can connect to PC2. Now we're going to go ahead and connect to the dual stack server. So let me go ahead and bring PC1 back up here. Go back to our command prompt, and we're going to ping 64.100.1.10. And this one should work as well. There we go. So we've correctly configured the left side of our network. We're now going to move over to the right side. This one is an IPv6 network. So let's go ahead and pull up the information I need again. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with PC3. And to the desktop. IP configuration. And I'm not going to bring those up. I'm going to use my information off to the side here. You can do the same thing. So I'll pull up PC3's IPv6 address. Now I'm copying it from the Word document. I'll bring it over here under IPv6, pasting it. I'll just type in that piece. We also need to enter the default gateway, which in this case is FE80::2. And that will complete this. Move on to PC4. Desktop config. Do the same thing here. Copy that, bring it down, /64. Default gateway is FE80::2. And that will finish this. Let's move on to router 2. So go ahead and click on this. Now there is a problem with this router. There's a password that I do not know to get into the exec level. So instead, we're going to go to the Configuration tab, click on one of the interfaces, and when I do that, it'll automatically move us into a configuration mode on the switch, or excuse me, the router itself. So now I can go back to the CLI, and we're at the Gigabit 0 interface. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to enter the IP address for this, and I'm just going to do IPv6 address, and then I'm just going to copy the information here and paste it in. I have to use the paste button, and this is a /64 address, and press enter. I'll change the interface to int, shortened for interface. G0/0, excuse me, that's 1 IPv6 address. And I'm just going to paste the same one we had before, because we just change one portion of the address, and with a /64. Go to the serial interface now, And let's get an IPv6 address. And this is similar to the other one. So I'll just paste this. 11/64. Finally, we have to do the link local address. So this again is an IPv6 address. And this is FE80 colon 2, and then the word link local. And that'll finish up the configuration here. But we need to go back and we need to make sure each of the interfaces is turned on. So I'm already in the serial interface. So I'll just do the turn on, which is the no shutdown command. Let me go back to int g0/1, no shutdown, and int g0/0, no shutdown. Okay, that'll finish up our router. Let me go ahead and close this. Well, before we continue, I noticed an issue. If you look at router 2, we do not have a proper connection to the other router. So there's a mistake been made here, and the mistake, let me pull this up, I located, is that I used the wrong interface. I should have used interface C00 or S001 instead. I'm going to go ahead and fix this error, and then I will continue. Okay, now we can go ahead and do some verification. I'm going to check the connectivity here between PC4 and PC3. So go ahead and open PC4. And I'm going to the command prompt, and I'm going to do the ping command, and then I'm going to pull up the address for PC3, and copy that, paste it, and hopefully we get the good result, and we do. So the PCs are talking to one another. Now we also want to check the dual stack server, so I'll go ahead and I'll do a ping. And this is on 2001 DB8 :100:1 A, and we get that as well. Alright, that ends this lab.